Hi, sir. Good morning po.
Morning.
Sir, may we confirm the statement of DOJ Secretary Minardo Guevara that Malacanang has instructed the DOJ to make a preliminary impact assessment on the possible termination of VFA?
Yes.
It's caught in the crossfire. It's caught in the
Sir, may we ask for details? Bakit po naging ganun yung order from the palace?
What do you mean?
Bakit po kailangan ng preliminary impact assessment, sir?
No, what Secretary Ibarra said was instructed to study how to go about notifying the United States government relative to determination. There certainly has a protocol in doing that, and it should be found in the visiting powers agreement.
So, sir, in place pa rin po yung order na i-terminate po yung VFA?
Yes.
Thank you po.
Sir, nagbigay ng warning sa Senator Coco Pimentel. He said that even if nabanggit naman po natin na hindi naman kasama EDCA and MDT sa mga ipapakancel, the US also or the other party has also the power to abrogate the other treaties.
The other treaties, with respect to
If we push through the termination of the VFA, sir.
that's in the realm of speculation. Number two, I think the treaties benefit more the United States than the Philippines. Strategically, the U.S. need to be in almost any part of the world to secure itself from its perceived enemies.
So we're not concerned that the other party, the US, can also cancel.
No.
Thank you, sir.
So yung pong last topic natin before last week. So the president can on his own terminate a treaty.
Since
That's the position of the president.
yes, since it is an executive agreement, and even U.S. considers it one, then there is no need for a concurrence by the Senate. Moreover, the Constitution does not say that it requires concurrence by the Senate with respect to termination of executive agreements. And for that matter, treaties.
Pero sir, sa statement po ni Foreign Affairs Secretary Locsin, ay nakikipag-ugnayan sila sa Senate because on our side, it is a treaty. Sa US, it is an executive agreement. So,
The Secretary Luxin was giving due courtesy to a co-equal branch on what the executive branch is doing.
so ano lang po yun, i-inform lang sila, pero hindi naman kailangang kunin yung kanilang concurrence.
I
Ganun
think
po
my
ba, sir?
response is clear enough, not to be repeated.
Anong question?
Oh, incidentally, the tete-a-tete will be held tomorrow at 5 p.m. at the Heroes Hall at the Palace between the President and this representation.
Ace Romero.
Secretary, what can change the President's mind with regard to the termination of the BFA?
I really do not know. But as I said earlier, the cancellation of the Senator Patos visa was the last straw that broke the camel's back. It was an accumulation, a series of disrespectful acts by some of the U.S. senators. One, first demanding the release of a senator who is lawfully detained. To our mind and to the President's mind, that is an intrusion and an insult to the judiciary system of this country. Number two, a U.S. Senate resolution condemning alleged violations of human rights, which have been a cycle of lies peddled by the critics and detractors of the president, which are baseless and totally exaggerated. Number three, the introduction of an amendment to the U.S. national budget barring entry of certain Philippine government officials who were involved or has anything to do with what they describe as a wrongful detention, which is false, as we have explained elaborately many times over, is a disrespect. Not that we are requiring the U.S. to tell us the reason for the barring, as well as Senator Batos visa being canceled. But we feel that as a matter of courtesy between countries who are allied, it should have given us the reasons therefore. After all, we stated the reason why we are refusing entry to three U.S. senators in this country. And fourth, of course, is that cancellation of Senator Batos' visa. These are the reasons why the president decided to terminate the visiting force agreement. You must remember that this BFA is a special grant of privilege agreement. Among others, under the BFA, the Philippines cannot assume jurisdiction over crimes committed by U.S. military personnel unless a particular crime is of particular importance to the Philippines. And even in those cases where the Philippines can assume jurisdiction, under the BFA, the courts are required to finish it in 1 year, can move without restriction in the Philippines, unrestricted movement. This is a very special privilege granted to the U.S. military personnel, ships, and aircrafts, which are not given to the counterparts in this country. So those are the reasons.
May I follow
It's
up?
not, as expressed by some, a decision on a whim. It is a studied response to acts that the president deems to be not only an intrusion, but an assault to the sovereignty of this country. And to those who are thinking that this is a rash judgment, let me remind them that this president is a tactical and thinking president who has never lost an election and who has tread a path that ordinary mortals, as well as even those pseudo-intellectuals, have not tread. He has done controversial things, but he remains to be on top of the surveys, whether it's a trust rating, it's a satisfaction.
It's caught in the crossfire.